watching Talking Points, a focus on the political scene in Lubbock and across the South Plains.
And welcome back. Here's a look at some of the political headlines of the past week. The civil court case filed against Lubbock Constable C.J. Peterson will be delayed until at least December. Lubbock's district attorney filed a request with the state district judge to delay those proceedings in order to continue with the criminal case against Peterson. He was arrested in May, charged with driving while intoxicated. The civil suit comes from County Republican Chairman Steve Evans, who asked the judge to remove Peterson from office. Peterson complained that he could not defend himself in the civil case without potentially incriminating himself in the criminal case, He's still working while both those cases are pending. And the U.S.-China tariff deadline came and went Friday, kicking off what appears to be a serious trade war. China's retaliation tariff seems to cut heavily into Texas agribusiness. 25% tariff on hundreds of U.S. exports to China, including cotton, sorghum, and beef. Farm groups have been pleading with the White House to take a different route. Instead, Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue has been told to come up with a plan to make up for lost profits. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick announced this week that he would donate up to 10 metal detectors to Santa Fe School District in the wake of that May shooting there. State lawmakers also discussing, along those lines, the use of what's called red flag notices, which means law enforcement, family members, school officials could ask a judge to temporarily remove firearms from a potentially dangerous person. It's not an easy sell here in Texas, even to protect kids, as KMAX West Rappaport tells us.
You never get good policy when you base it off of emotion.
C.J. Grisham opposes red flag laws that could allow temporary restrictions on people who pose a danger. He attended a meeting of lawmakers openly carrying his handgun.
If somebody feels intimidated, I'm sorry, but liberty is not predicated on someone's feelings. So suck it up, Buttercup.
But Judge Guy Herman says allowing this temporary intervention could stop more deadly attacks like the one at Santa Fe High School.
I don't want to see another Santa Fe happen again. There was information out that maybe had it been given to the right persons that we could have put a stop to that.
While most who participated in Monday's meeting agreed something needs to be done to better protect Texans, some were less unified on the exact approach.
This is really a suicide prevention effort.
I know that the storage issue is a difficult one. It's difficult to enforce. It's difficult for some people to say, how are you going to tell me what to do?
We need to do something that actually works. The problem I see is that all the stuff that's become the cliches and the bumper stickers is not going to make a damn bit of difference.
In Austin, Wes Rappaport, KMAC News.
Wes, the news that Texas House Speaker Joe Straus is retiring has the lieutenant governor and others hopeful for a new speaker in the next legislative session that tends to take a little farther to the right. Straus was not a visible participant in the recent state convention, but he was there and spent 5 good minutes with our Julie Fine.
Well, first of all, Speaker, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
This is the Republican convention. It is your last one as Speaker. Where do you think the party should go?
Well, I think the party ought to be spending a lot more time addressing issues that are important to all Texans. And I would start with supporting public education. There's nothing more important to the future of the state of Texas. 28.5 million people now. We're going to grow to 40 million people in less than 20 years, I think. And nothing's more important and crucial to the economic development and the well-being of our state than supporting public education, which gets a pretty short shrift by the state party these days. And I think the tone of politics is a severe problem, and it's not just in Texas. It's not just in our Republican Party that seems to be looking for ways to shrink the party rather than grow it, but at the national level. It's very, very concerning to watch what's happening to the party nationally.
Yeah, was it difficult? I mean, you had moments with members of your own party here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I have. I mean, there's no secret that my priorities and the priorities of some of the insiders on the State Republican Executive Committee don't match up. I mean, I care passionately about improving public education, making sure that there's an opportunity for a great education for every Texas child, and not just obsessing about public taxpayer money going to pay for private schools. And the list goes on. I mean, I know the platform of the Republican Party has 266 issues listed in it. Certainly I don't support all 266 of them. I believe that citizens of Texas ought to have a direct vote, for instance, for who their United States Senator is. I think it's crazy to be against that. I support kids going to kindergarten. Our state party platform says they shouldn't have to go to kindergarten. I mean, some of that stuff's kind of nuts. And when I find things that I disagree with in the state platform, I speak out against it. I think every Texan and every Republican has an obligation to speak up for what they are committed to and have the courage of their convictions.
What do you think should be the #1 priority for this upcoming legislature besides school?
Public education for sure, and school finance reform, which the House has tried to address many times and has voted for it overwhelmingly. And it plays into the whole issue of property tax relief. The state's share of support for public education funding has dropped from 50% to about 38%, I believe. So, and the trend is going the wrong way. And as that happens, the Robin Hood situation is only exacerbated. And so it got to take really address that and be committed to addressing it. The last session, I couldn't have been more disappointed that many of our state leaders thought that by forming a commission they had taken action. That's not action.
Now that you'll no longer be Speaker, will you stay involved with issues like that?
Yeah, I plan to. You know, I've been Speaker. I've been fortunate and very privileged to serve as the presiding officer of the Texas House for 5 terms. 10 years is a long time to be in that job. And I was very heartened to have been elected by strong margins each time and to have helped do some good things for the state, I believe, in some pretty challenging times. But going forward, yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people, a lot of friends and supporters about ways to stay involved. I'm not planning to disappear. And I think I can do a lot from the private sector to promote issues that are important to me without having the burden of leading an institution like the Texas House and being responsible really for all 150 members. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'll have more to say about that in a few months.
So would you rule out returning to public office?
No, I don't believe in ruling things out. I do think it would be a challenge in today's Republican Party environment. But things change, and I was very pleased to see so many responsible Republican candidates who I supported in the primaries, who do support public education, for instance, won. And in many cases, they won easily. So I think there are a lot of fundamentally important issues that may not be the highest priority of some Republican activists that over time the Texas public will demand action on. And so I don't rule anything out, but it's not something I'm focused on every day. But I will be involved in policy and politics, and we'll just have to see what happens in the future.
Guys, thank you so much. Straight ahead, rallies, including one in Lubbock. People angry over immigration policy. We'll take, though, a different view of the safety fight from the people over the front lines. Next on Talking Points.